Become a god, you have to not care about material things. But God, can you please give me some money?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey everybody, I'm Nick. I'm a director living in Taiwan.
Hey everybody, I'm Luke. I'm a cinematographer living in Taipei.
And today we're talking about a film called The Great Buddha Plus,
大佛普拉斯
which is directed by
黄信尧
And this film is quite interesting because it was originally started as a short film called The Great Buddha, and then it was made into a feature when it got the funding, and the director decided to name the feature film The Great Buddha Plus. And if you look up the reason for this, it's because at the time the iPhone 6 Plus had just come out.
Yeah.
He thought that was a funny way to kind of say, oh, this is the bigger, better version of the original.
Yeah, so this is why they call it 大佛 Plus.
Yeah.
And also he made a movie this year called 同学 Minus, which is also from plus, so minus.
Oh, so he plays on his older films and kind of plays with his titles a little bit.
Yeah, just only the title.
Yeah, I think this speaks to that he is a very comedic person, and the film itself is a dark comedy.
Yeah.
So the plot of the film is that there is a security guard that works at a factory, and he has a friend who is like a lower class citizen. His job is like picking up garbage, and they hang out in the security office at the factory at night together. And they watch security footage or dash cam footage from their boss, who is like a rich guy who owns a factory. And they do this as like entertainment. They watch, him maybe with his mistress on the dash cam footage.
Yeah.
But then one night when they're watching the footage, they think they see a murder. They're not sure, but they think that there's a murder has taken place. So in a way, it's a little bit like kind of like a comedic version of like Rear Window. Do you know that?
The Rear Window, yeah, the
like
Hitchcock.
I think that's definitely like a parallel to Rear Window there.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like you have these people that think they've seen a crime, but they're not sure, and they try to figure it out.
Right.
There's a little bit of that. But more than that, it's I think the whole film is really a social commentary talking about the way that poor people and rich people interact in society, and the way that money kind of controls our society, and particular Taiwan society.
Yeah. And also we have a very funny situation. It's called the government and then the religion group and also society. So which the one who doesn't take care of by the government is taken care of by the religion group.
Right.
But also the religion group is also controlled
by the government.
So
right. That is a key point that I forgot to mention, is that the factory that the rich guy owns they make giant Buddha statues for religion.
Yeah.
So that's how he makes his money. So he's actually, I think that another part of this is showing how religion pretends like it's this virtuous thing, but actually it's still just a industry. I think some of the interesting parts of the film are like the shooting style. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Basically the film is shot by black and white, but the reason they wanted to make it black and white is a lot of reasons. One is because they can make it easier to make it pop, because the Buddha is usually have to made by gold or bronze, right? Which will reflect a lot of light. And if you shot in color, which is you cost a lot of money to make the statue.
Okay.
So if you shot it in black and white, which is
Did he say that?
Yeah,
he said that.
He talked about himself. The director could say this. So the reason they decided to shot it in black and white is also saving some money, and also reflect. Also because the whole movie is talking about dark comedy, so yes, it's acceptable to shot in black and white, and also it can create some contrast when some footage is in color when they watch the dashboard.
Yeah.
Cam of the rich people's car, they can show they tell footage is colored, which is kind of metaphor for those poor watching the rich's life is so colorful, so bright. So this also created different layer of the movie, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, I think that's quite interesting. I think that he definitely, you can tell he definitely put a lot of effort into his framing and the way that he uses different element, like a lot of elements, like why he uses black and white and when he uses color, and that kind of contrast to really, he's really trying to say something. So as you watch it, you can kind of try and pick out, different shots and different things that he's doing, and try and think, okay, what is the meaning of this? I think he's definitely very intentional in every choice.
Every single choice.
The one element of the film that I didn't like, which we had talked about, was the voice. There's a voiceover that goes throughout the film, which I think, for me, took away from the movie more than added anything to it.
Right.
I think the film is filmed very comedically. It has a lot of pretty funny actors in it, and then he adds in some extra jokes on top of that with a voiceover, which I think really doesn't add that much to the comedy of the situation is already there, and then when you have somebody making a joke from a voiceover on top, it's I already got the joke. It's almost like annoying.
I think it's because he's originally a documentary director. He's getting used to have voiceover for his film.
Sure.
And this is his very first feature film.
Okay.
So might be the reason he wanted to.
He feels comfortable with a voiceover.
Right.
Yeah, no, I see that. I would have trusted the film more. I can see that. That's what it feels like to me, of somebody who's like almost isn't sure if his movie is funny enough. So he's like, I better add this in to make sure that everybody knows this is a comedy. But I think he already made something that was really fantastic, and he didn't need that extra voiceover to kind of push us over the edge into understanding this is a comedy. Like, it's good. It's funny. It's a comedy.
Yeah. We know it. We know it. Please.
Yeah. I think another part of this movie that I really like that it does really well is that it takes a very popular element of Taiwanese cinema, which is gangs, right? There's a lot of gangs related to, like, the factory owner is involved in kind of the mafia of Taiwan,
definitely.
Which a lot of Taiwan films have that, but it takes it from another perspective and shows like this factory owner who makes Buddhas, and it's not really talking about the gang culture so much, but like the way that what he's doing and how it affects other people. Like the woman that he kills and the people that work for him, and like the lower members of society, seeing his life and kind of wanting to be it but not really understanding it.
No.
So I like that aspect of it, of like taking this popular idea of gang culture, which is in so many Taiwanese films, and then showing us a side of it that we haven't seen before, which I think is really hard to do.
Okay.
I think there's so many movies that are made about gangs, and you can always make them like the same way.
Yeah, this is totally different perspective of gang, right? You didn't see much violet, and you didn't see much people in tattoo, but actually you see much more bigger and powerful gangster behind those
like the control
characters
and the money and all the different things that they're actually doing behind the scenes, and it makes it so that it takes. I appreciate it because it takes away like the romantic side of it, which is like, fighting, and like brothers, and we hang out with each other, and we do this, and we drink, and we party. It takes that kind of away, and it's like what it comes down to is rich guys paying other rich guys. That's really all it is.
This all it is.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate this movie because it tells so much. When you dig down to it, you can see the whole picture of our society.
Yeah.
People in lower society, they wanted to make the ends meet, and people in the higher class, they just taking so much power, and then they can either like doing good to you or even threaten you, like you don't tell everybody what you saw.
What I did.
Otherwise, I will do blah 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 to you, and I also give you some candy. Hey, it's your mother. I can take care of your mother if you don't tell everybody what you saw. So this is so. I mean, for me personally, they just reflect so much things. Also, the Buddhas representing the whole. The whole faith in our people society.
Right.
People go to temple and ask God for money or for wealthy or for health. But actually, the God for our culture is God because he doesn't care much about
the wealth
or
or material things,
the material things. But people go to temple and ask for material things, which is so.
Yeah, it's a contrast. It's
contrast.
Like, to become a god, you have to not care about material things. But God, can you please give me some money?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Isn't it? So.
And I mean, I won't give away the ending, but the ending of this film is fantastic. It wraps up the whole story very, very nicely, and it really makes you think. Like the very final shot of the film, I think, is one of the best in Taiwanese films that I've ever seen. Like when it ends, you're like, oh man,
yeah,
it's quite good. So I would definitely highly recommend Great Buddha Plus. There's another film that has come out by the same director called Classmates Minus, which we will hopefully see and review soon.
Yeah.
And let us know if there's any other films you'd like us to talk about. What's your favorite Taiwanese or Chinese or Japanese or Hongkonese?
Yeah.
Any other film that you'd like us to review. And remember to like, subscribe, and share.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.